Hi, my name's Ben Way. I'm Executive Chef of Little Beach Boathouse and Madawi Social. Welcome to Port to Plate. I'm here to show you my dish, which is local Bonito tuna, served raw with kombu, chive, lime and sesame dressing, and some wonton chips for some crunch. Nice and simple, just using Bonito, which is in perfect season right now for, in my favourite application of it, which is just raw. One thing with Bonito, as you can see, they can get quite big, but these are nice little sizes for what we're using today. The flesh deteriorates on these really quickly. Best off to be used within 24 hours, if not sooner. The quicker you can use it, the best you'll get for it. Differs quite a lot from yellowfin tuna. It's not as much of a bloody taste or an irony taste. This has got so much more of a lighter, kind of saltier feel to it. Very nice and soft, great mouthfeel. It's just a beautiful fish. I love it, but like I said, no good after 24 hours. Maybe you could push it to 36 if you know a good fisherman. So what we'll do is I'm just going to take one fillet off this, just so you can see what to do with it. So first thing to remember is that sometimes you can get them gutted. This one has not been gutted, and I'm quite happy not to gut it for this reason right now. Like I said, the flesh is very soft, so we do have to be very careful when cutting into it with our filleting knife. So just behind the gills, we're just going to go straight through until we feel the bone there, and we're just going to come through down here. And then cut where we're going to go at the tail, and then we're going to follow the spine round here. So you can feel the bones. Just going to get that in there the first, and then you can just slowly take it down using the blade, nice and softly. You feel that crunch of the bones there by the head. Just make sure this fillet here is good. Making sure we're wiping the knife every time we make a cut. And then bringing the fillet out like this. Most beautiful flesh, you can feel it there just at the tail. I don't know if you can see that in the shot, but just in the tail there, you can almost see it's just starting to get too soft there to use. So we're going to focus here on the shoulder. So we're just going to clean the fillet up a little bit. It's got some residual spine bones up the top here. When I teach my chefs and stuff like that, I usually say we skin it first, then we do this, but I don't really feel like when we're at home, there's not much necessity to do it. So it just means we can get a cleaner skin. So when I say cleaner skin, you'll see what I mean here. So making sure you've got a nice sharp knife. Bonito is very soft, as we said, it's breaking down here already, so we're just going to skip about 2 inches there, and we're just going to go down. And usually with fish, we'd usually use let the knife do the work and wag the tail, wag the skin like this, but we're just going to use the knife just a touch more on this Bonito because it's just so delicate. We need to make sure we're preserving it nicely. So there's the skin off there, as you can see. Off there, and we'll just do the same with the belly bit. Now this is where all the fat is. Take this belly off here. Perfect. Now this will serve probably 2 people with an entree size, this fillet. But it's a very Moorish dish, and it's a very nice entree. It's one of those entrees that you can probably eat a lot of it because it's got such a nice mouthfeel. So what we'll do now is we're going to just very carefully just cut it into strips. Now, in a lot of restaurants and a lot of places you go, people stress so much about what presentation looks like, and presentation is super important. We all know we eat with our eyes and consume things in general with our eyes, but this is Bonito tuna now. We can't follow those exact same rules. So while we've got all the fish in our bowl, we're just going to cut it into cubes, taking care just to making sure, get it nice and straight. Bunch all those up together. And the juicing. So with the fork like that, and squeeze and just twist slightly. So you're using the squeeze mainly, and you just, every time you squeeze, you just give a little twist. Holding the fork like that so you don't bend the prongs, the last thing we want to do. You don't want to lose a fork every time you prep the dish. It's literally the dressing there. Now, we could season it now. I'd rather just season it once we put the kombu and the tuna together and season the dish as a whole. I think that's nicer just to understand where all kombus can be different. Some of them have the salt water residue on them still, and some of them don't at all. So this one here is already already in strips for me. You can find these at Asian grocers, Essential Ingredient, Newcastle, places like that. It's got a great smell. People are a bit grossed out by seaweed, but what it does is it adds an amazing texture, but also a really nice saltwater umami taste, like a savoury taste to it. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to try and get these into as much of a kind of strand as we can, and we're going to dice them, run our knife through them until we've got a small dice. We don't want them too small, but at the same time we don't want any stringy bits in there as well. That's it. We've got it in there. Always call it kombu and not seaweed to your guests, and then you know, then you can tell them afterwards what it is when they're eating it. So, you know, they don't get too grossed out by it, but it's really nice. It adds an amazing flavour, like I said, to it, and a nice bit of texture, because apart from the wonton chips and the tuna, there's not much texture to it. So what we're going to do now is just give it a little mix and just check that our ratios are all good. That all looks good to me. We're going to combine this into a bigger bowl now, ready to put the dressing on the tuna. A bit of a straggler there. So, we'll just double check our dressing anyway. I did have a teaspoon here, yeah. I'll just double check the dressing anyway and just make sure that we like our balance. Yep, that's good. Now, it is just a dressing. Don't pour the whole thing on there. That's very important. So let's add 2 tablespoons to start. Making sure where the lime juice is always going to be through it. Try and skim from the top, because you'll have your chives, your sesame oil and your sesame seeds floating at the top there. See, if you want to have a look there, I don't know if you want to hone in on that. Have a look there where I've skimmed the top of that. And then we're going to give it a little fold through. Would like a little bit of salt, not too much, because we have salted our wonton chips we fried previously. It's loads, it's a tiny little pinch to taste. Perfect. We are now ready to plate. Nice and simple, lovely simple entree. Here's some wontons that we fried earlier. Always fry a couple of extra, because you tend to end up eating 2 or 3 while making the dish, because they're like the best chips you can get. So you can cut them before you fry them, if you like, if you want more bite-sized pieces. I don't personally think that's necessary, because I like to when I eat this dish, spoon it onto a wonton and eat it like a little cracker kind of thing. So we're gonna put one down here, and then I'll bring this a bit nearer so you can see it. Giving it a little stir just before there, just making sure it's got a nice coating of dressing on it. Organising your little chef tip here, organising your serve on the spoon before you put it on the plate. So like that. And then we'll use this one here. Just lean that across there so you can still see the tuna. And then we're just gonna cut up a couple of chives for some garnish. I probably should have done that when I was doing it earlier, making a bit more work for myself. That can go around the plate. And I think we will put just a touch of lime zest on the plate, because the best thing that the lime zest will do is when it is placed in front of the diner, all they'll be able to smell is that beautiful lime oil coming off it. And that's fresh local bonito with lime, sesame and chive.